Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Unit 8, Day 6, which is basically using the Pythagorean theorem to be able to find the area and the perimeter of different shapes. And I know it sounds kind of easy, but the problem with these types of shapes is that it's not as easy as, being able to do the length times the width for a square or a rectangle. In my half or shapes might have diagonals on a graph. So, for example, look at number two. If you notice, our square or rectangle has all these diagonals, and we can't just go down the line and say from A to B. We can count one, two, three, four, 5 units, and then DA might be one, two. So we can just say 5 times 2. It's not that easy to be able to find the area. We're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem to be able to find the distance between 2 points so we can be able to know what the measurements are and then find either the area or the perimeter based on what the question is asking us. So before we get into that, let's talk about number one. It says we have point A at 2, 1, and then we have point B at negative 4, 9. What is the distance between these 2 points? And this is basically review from a couple days ago. So if you notice, I need to find the distance between A and B. So I'm going to put a little question mark. And to be able to find the distance, I'm going to have to use my theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And because I'm using this, I need a right triangle. So there's actually two ways you can draw a right triangle. You can go from B down and then over to A, or you can go from A going up and then over to B to be able to form that right triangle. And of course, from across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. The other two sides are A and B. And because I can count up and down, left and right, I should be able to know what the measurements are for A and B. So for B, which is this side, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 units. For side A, which is basically from the corner to point B, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 units. So now that I have that shape, I'm able to do my theorem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that shape over here so I can be able to have space to work it out. So that will be 6, 8, question mark. We said this was A. Sorry, this was C. This was A, and this was B. So now let's plug it into my theorem. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. Now, using Desmos, I'm going to do 6 squared plus 8 squared. Okay, and 6 squared plus 8 squared, that will be 36 plus 64. And that gets me 100. Oh, perfect. That came out to be a nice number. Equals C squared. And I have to find C, not C squared. So the opposite of a square is square root. And you take the square root of both sides. And when you do that, the square root of a square will cancel themselves out. So you're left with C equals. And of course, the square root of 100 is just 10. So that means the missing side is 10 units. Okay? So basically, we are going to be using this idea to be able to find distances of certain sides to be able to answer that question. What is the area? What is the perimeter of that given shape? Okay? So, let's see, what do we have? I guess, okay, let's go ahead and do number two, since that's the only one that involves area. Okay? Find the area of the rectangle shown in the grid below. So if you notice, we do have a rectangle. So we know that when we're dealing with a rectangle, and I'm just going to draw that shape over here, we're basically going to be multiplying length times width, okay? And so that means we're going to do this side times that side to give me the area. But unfortunately, okay, we are going to need to be able to find side AB and side DA to be able to find the area. So let's start with AB. Now, if you notice, AB is basically the same idea here. You see? So I'm going to have to draw myself a right triangle and then do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So here's my right triangle. Okay. And so I'm going to do finding A, B. So I'm going to redraw the little triangle, A, B. So let's see. Across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. And then side from point A to the corner, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 units. And then from the corner to point B, that was going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I can go ahead and do, across from the 90-degree angles, your letter C. The other sides are A and B. So if I use my theorem, I'm going to have 3 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. So 3 squared plus 3 squared, that's going to be 9 plus 9, which is 18. Okay? So the opposite of a square is square root. And you're left with the square root of 18. And that should be 4 point something. Let's double check. 4 point something. Yeah, 4.2. Okay, I'm just going to say 4.2. You can say 4.24. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to say 4.2. So there's that side. So if you notice, that's going to be side AB, which in our situation, it's the width, because we're looking for the area. Now we just got to find the length. You can either choose A or DA, or you can choose CB. It really doesn't matter because they should be the same length. So I'm just going to do DA, and I'm basically going to do the same thing. So let's find DA. Okay. And for this one, this is what the triangle should look like. So if I draw my right triangle right here, okay, going from D to the corner, that's going to be 1, 2. So that's 2 units here. And then from going to the corner to A, that's 1, 2. That's also 2 units. Okay. Now that I have my rectangle or my triangle, I can go ahead and find the distance of DA, which is basically my length. So here we go. Across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. The other two sides are A and B. So I'm going to say 2 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. So 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay. Then the opposite of a square is square root. So the square root of 8 should be 2.8 maybe? Yeah, 2.8. And I'm just going to leave it as that. If you want to do 2.83, that's fine. Or 2.82, that's also fine. I'm just going to say 2.8. Okay? And that should be my side DA, which in our picture, it should be the length. Okay? So now that we have the length times the width, okay, I can say 2.8 times 4.2, which is the area, okay? Because we're doing length times width to be able to find the area of that shape. So let's see, 2.8 times 4.2, and that gives me 11.76 for the area. Okay. Well, we have these answers. So we could say that the answer is C, but I just want to make sure that it's not B or D. And these are in radical form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Desmos, type in answer choice B, and see what it is as a decimal number, okay? So I'm going to type in 5 square root of 2. And that gives me 7.07. And then D, okay? 10 times square root of 2. And that gives me 14.14 as a decimal. So we were correct in our thought process when we said 11.76 should round to 12. So the answer will be C. That is basically the area of this shape if we're rounding to the nearest whole number, okay? Now, I just want to say that this is a lot of work, but it should be pretty easy because you're just, if you break it up into parts and then end up doing what they're asking you to do, it shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, it's just that it's a lot of side work that you're going to have to do to get to the actual simple question, which is find the area of a rectangle, which you already know how to do since, I don't know, fifth grade or even earlier than that. Okay, so let's move on. Now, number three is asking you to find the perimeter of this quadrilateral shown in the figure below. Well, here's the good thing. If you notice, we only have one diagonal in this shape, which is CB. All the other measurements are either vertical or horizontal lines, which means we can go ahead and count that. So let's go ahead and take care of DC. So from D to C, that's 1, 2, 3. So we know that's 3 units there. From D to A, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units there. From A to B, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now the only one we're missing is CB. And because that's a diagonal, I'm going to have to use my Pythagorean theorem by creating a right triangle. Okay? So if you go up and over, you can form a right triangle. Okay? You can go from um, sorry. If crap, what was I saying? Um, oh, so if we're trying to find the measurement of CB, we need to create that right triangle. And so let's go ahead and count our sides. So from B to the corner is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And from the corner to C, that's 1, 2, 3 units. Okay? And I need that side CB, okay? So here we go. Across from the 90-degree angle is your letter C. The other two sides are A and B. And I can use my theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So A squared is 3 squared, B squared is going to be 4 squared, and C, of course, is just C squared. And now, if you do 3 squared plus 4 squared, that will be 9 plus 4 squared. 9 plus 16, right? Let's just double check in case I'm messing up my... Yep, which is 25. So 25 equals C squared. And then the opposite of a square is square root. So we're left with C equals 5. So that means that missing side is 5. Now, I'm going to redraw my shape up here because it looks kind of messy here, okay? And don't judge my drawing because it's probably not going to look as good as the graph, okay? So D, A, B, C. So we agree that the side CB is 5. We just figured that out. Then we counted DC to be 3 units. We counted that DA was 4 and that AB is 6. They said, what is the perimeter of the shape? So all we're going to do is 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6. I'm going to add up all the sides, okay? And that should be 18. Because 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So the perimeter of this shape is 18, which is answer choice C. Okay? And then, of course, number 4, we are not going to go over that one. But basically, that's the same idea as number 3. Instead of a quadrilateral, they're giving you a triangle. So, of course, you will take a moment to graph your points. So that would be R at 7, -4, and then For S, we're going to have 12, negative 12, and then for T is 2, negative 12. And then, of course, you will find the perimeter of that triangle. And if you have any diagonals, then you will have to use the Pythagorean theorem to be able to find that missing side. Um, on the SchoolNet assignment, you should not have any problems that will go higher than 12. It should always stay in between 10, negative 10, and 10 and negative 10, okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know. Just remember, this is it's not supposed to be hard. It's just very time consuming, and you have to be really organized in what you're looking for, so that way you will have the necessary information to find or to answer that question you're being asked. Okay.